Hello, everyone, and welcome to Osquery Office Hours. It is now July, and we are, I don't know, in summer here in Boston. And hopefully it is nice where other people are. My Canadian coworkers, I think, have an Independence Day holiday this week. The US has an Independence Day holiday this week. Everyone has Independence Day holidays. Anyhow, welcome, everyone. First agenda section is announcements or highlights since the last meeting. I don't think I have anything. Anyone else?
Charvel did a workshop on creating Osquery extensions at Mac DevOps YVR. That was pretty cool.
Cool.
And I believe a recording of that was just posted. So we'll probably link that in Osquery Slack.
That's pretty cool. Any favorites come out of that workshop? I assume people were working on stuff, building stuff.
Or I guess it wasn't a workshop really. It was more of a like talk and demo. Like, here's how you do it.
Still pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was live coding an extension to read the background task manager on macOS, obviously. Yeah, to read the various notifications.
Neat. Other announcements? Okay. Next up is an open section of the meeting. The intent here is for someone who's dropping in to bring up any questions, issues, PRs, anything they want to discuss before moving on to agenda items. I'll pause a moment and see if anyone wants to say anything.
Sorry, this might be actually maybe agenda because it's due. It's maybe a release related or CI related, but
That's fine. You can talk about it. We'll just put it in whatever section.
So yeah, first step is the macOS 11 runner is deprecated. So our builds have been stuck since a couple of weeks. I have a PR in draft that updates the builder to use the very latest macOS, so Sonoma 14, and also updates the tester to Monterey. Yeah, there's only a minor issue I'm mentioning. There is a test that is failing. It is a test around the firewall. I don't have too much time right now to look into it, and not exactly knowledge in it. I mean, we either can simply disable that test, or I don't know if anyone here or who listens us has more knowledge on how to fix it. The issue of that specific test actually presents itself also in the older build, in the x86-64 build. And it's slightly weird. So we have a plist that the score is trying to parse, and one expects that, at least I was expecting that the entire logic that it was trying to test was just the passing of these plist, so static data, and then it checks if a certain key is as expected. But apparently, this parsing also causes some system-specific, like it actually searches something on the system, or at least it retrieves a path from the system, which sometimes changes from the test what the test expects. And now with ARM64, though, this path seems to be at least permanently changed, but it's confusing. So anyway, there is this test failing. I don't know if anyone has knowledge or time to look into it, but yeah.
Do you, are you thinking it's a processor architecture change, or it's a Mac OS version change?
I think it's a system change. So basically, again, it's retrieving this test is parsing our static plist, and from this plist is retrieving another path to I think it's a folder or a plist about the sorry, I should have wrote the specific thing. Let me double check. Oh yeah, okay. So simply, I think it's connected to a rule in the firewall. But anyway, it's a path that originally expects to be system library frameworks, WebKit.framework version, XPC, blah, 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 and com Apple WebKit networking .xpc state 0. And I think, anyway, this should be, I think, a rule related to that application or protocol. But on ARM, it's permanently under, or at least the plist we are parsing points permanently to basically the same path with a different prefix under the pre-boot cryptaxis path. I don't know. There's a lot of details. So, and it's weird because this path also actually exists. The one that it is searching. Let me just copy the error. It is present on the system. So I don't know why suddenly that static plist is internally pointing to that new path.
Yeah, on my Intel Mac on 14.5, both paths seem to exist.
Yeah.
Not sure whether the test would pass or fail or not.
And again, the weird thing is this test has already failed sometimes in the past, like when we were building on and testing exclusively on x86. Yeah, I'm not sure what's with that test. I think I should also have an issue open for the old flakiness. An issue, here it is, I think. Yeah. Yeah, issue 7433, so 2 years ago. This one.
So it looks like this test is. If I look at the firewall tests.cpp and I'm not super confident I'm reading it right, it looks like it's expecting there to be a handful of system utilities with firewall rules. And the error is that one of those expected things changed. Does that sound like what you're seeing?
Yes. So I have not opened again. So let me double check again. Yeah, I mean, my point is that I don't know exactly what it's doing. I haven't looked deep into it. I only know I see that it is reading that test ALF nested path.plist, I think, yeah, and doing that parse plist content. And then when accessing the parse data, tries to match it to a known path, and it fails. But yeah, I don't. The part that I don't understand how it works is that, again, it's a fixed plist, and even in the past, that path it passes was either was empty sometimes, or now is permanently another path. So it seems that internally, that the initial plist we parse, there is some additional logic that is being run on what the plist returns.
I guess my feeling is maybe we should just make the test support any of the values that we've seen real systems produce.
Well, I'm wondering if we can just get rid of that particular test.
Yeah, or just eliminate the test.
So it's like,
so-
what's the test doing? Is I think what
Would it-
Stefano led with.
Would it be acceptable to like place a firewall rule and then use the table to verify that it's there? I know that that's changing system state, but it's in an Osquery test and not an Osquery core.
If that's actually what it's doing, yeah, not sure yet what this test is trying to do. I feel like modifying the state on CI machines is mostly okay. Like, how else do we test things?
I guess the bigger
I agree.
issue in my eyes is like I'm building and running the tests right now, and so doing that on someone's workstation dev machine is perhaps a bit more problematic.
I guess you could create a rule that denies input, denies rather than allows, and does it to a program that is like user bin false or something that.
You could also conditionalize it on the GitHub, on the CI jobs. But
Both of those sound reasonable enough to me.
I think I'm still trying to figure out what is this doing, and can we get rid of it?
I'm in the process of building the tests on my system right now. I mean, I guess it would be convenient if it consistently fails across all the architectures on newer versions, and then we can just change it to pass on all the architectures on newer versions. Or just eliminate the test. Seems pretty valid approach to me if like there's no longer consistent results to key off of.
In some sense, we're missing a whole lot of tests, so removing a flaky test doesn't really make our test suite markedly worse.
I have a CI related question. When I fork the repo now, my personal GitHub account gets flooded with CI failing tests. I don't remember that behavior, and I mean I can delete the GitHub workflows from my repo so that that doesn't happen. But is that expected behavior?
I think yes. I think those are the build AR64.
Yeah, that one. That one's like the private runner, I think.
Yeah. No, it's normal every time you like, because in the master workflow at every push, it starts the build. So you have that also on your repository, so that starts every time.
We may have
And-
route to changing that soon because GitHub ARM64 is in beta.
Yeah. Wait, is that Linux?
Linux and Windows.
Oh, okay, I didn't. Cool. But yeah, anyway, on my side, Mike, I in fact for other reason, like running my branch is basically just by enabling them on the branch instead of the main branch or master branch, whichever is selected as the default branch. So in my repository, I created a main branch, which is now actually the default branch, and in there I changed and messed with the workflow so it does what I'd like on my repo.
Okay, that's another solution. I just deleted
Yeah.
the runner or the workflow I couldn't use.
Well, maybe someone wants to figure out the GitHub ARM64 runners, and then we can shut down bits of that. They might be too beta still. I forget what the state of them is.
All right, I think we have asked to be.
We are.
At least for Windows. Oh, we are. So, okay.
Yeah, we should have access to that. The pre-alpha, the alpha version of it didn't have anything installed on the ARM runner, so it sort of had a lot more work. I took a look briefly for Collide. Beta's getting a little bit more standard. I guess maybe it doesn't matter because we run our own Docker images, don't we?
For Linux, yes.
So what are the rules around the beta? You ask to be allowed, they allow you, and then you can just add a workflow?
Yeah, it's a little bit more complicated. I haven't stared at it since they opened the beta up. The alpha had some extra steps where you had to like monkey in the settings to sort of turn it on and create groups for it and things like that. But basically, you add a workflow for it.
And I mean, on the topic, I linked the issues. If you recall, there was, I think they have been maybe a collaborator once, but anyway, a user that was asking for us to enter the program. And I think they were interested in also contributing to Osquery. So I think, yeah, they were waiting on knowing if we successfully entered the program.
Okay, well, I'll try and reply on there. The other PR you linked. Oh, that's an issue. Okay, not a PR. Given that you linked to an issue from 2022, Stefano, I sort of think we should just remove that particular flaky comparison.
Okay.
Because I mean, I don't think we have I don't know. I don't know enough about what it's really doing, but it kind of just smells a little weird.
I just built it and I get the same failure on my Intel machine on 14.5. So I'm wondering about just updating. I mean, I think either deleting it's fine or just updating the test to expect that value.
could try updating the test. If it passes CI, it's good enough.
Oh, I see. Yeah. True. I was thinking, yeah, Intel or ARM should be the same. Yeah.
I mean, I would interpret that as just like they changed this in newer versions of Mac OS, and therefore we can update the test.
Yeah.
I can comment on the PR as well.
Although the interesting part is that then this test also runs on Monterey. And well, again, Osquery is, well, okay.
Oh, and does it pass on Monterey?
Not sure. To be fair, with the time left, I just disabled this test and let the flow go forward, because right now it was blocked by the failure of this test. But yeah.
That's fine with me. Yeah, I mean, what? Yeah, I mean, let's just disable it, I guess. I'd say.
Yeah.
Okay. Seems reasonable. The agenda item that I had written down was a 5.13 release. Since we said we would want to do one in the beginning of July, and here we are.
Yeah, let's do it.
I know there
There's
are
some PRs to merge.
Yeah, I know we've got PRs that we should merge in. And I think we're going to block on the one Stefano is working on.
so that CI can pass.
Yeah, which is why I was asking. But yeah, I'll disable the test and get it to work.
Okay, so it sounds like we should try and get stuff merged and out the door. I don't think there's anything real nuanced in the PRs that we have.
What's everyone's opinion on small PRs, like small documentation and table schema type fixes? Because I was going to open a few, but I didn't want to be an annoyance.
Up to you, man. Make one, make many.
All right, I'm not trolling if I submit a bunch of micro PRs. It's just because they're all unrelated stuff that seems like I could easily take on for, free time.
Yeah, that's awesome. I see you already opened one. I approved it, but then had to tell the workflows to run and couldn't merge it immediately.
Yeah, I assume you're asking whether you should open one or many PRs, and I don't know, whatever makes you happy.
Okay, I'll just do little ones because I'm doing these in fragments of time. But I figured it's not the kind of thing that's worth people's, like, if you have maintainer time, you want to probably do things like fix CI. So.
Yeah, I think reviewing these isn't hard. So I'd say do whatever's easy for you, and we'll happily accept them.
Great. Follow-up question. I used to have the ability to edit labels on issues. I think that was a discrete permission that account roles could have. Humbly requesting that I have that again so I can label my issues and whatnot.
I left my phone in the other room, so I can't as easily log into GitHub to give you permission. I think you're using a new GitHub account too, right?
I am. It's the one that opened the most recent 3 PRs, and that's
Michael Dash Myers, maybe with an icon in front of a beach.
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll sort out permissions when I have my phone back.
Okay. Cool.
I'm seeing if I can do it right now as well.
You probably can. You can see what the other Michael Myers account is. It might be in a group. I forget how stuff got set up.
The old account probably had write permission, but I believe there was a permission.
It had writer triage, and it was probably
triage. I think triage is the one that allows people to write labels and label PRs and stuff. It's useful, but it's not like it's not meaningful access, but it's something helpful.
We are happy to grant it your new account, Mike.
Thank you.
I see Osquery project wardens, and Mike is on there, so I can remove you from that and then add the new one to the same role.
Yeah. Do you want them both to be there, or are we swapping one for the other?
I set up a second account for Trail of Bits and then I abandoned it. So I don't think that it's ever going to be active again.
Okay. I'm removing it.
You want to make a foundation issue too? Just because that's our sort of half-assed tracking system for changes.
Shall I do that?
You or Zach. It
So
doesn't need.
It's in the foundation repo, so I probably need someone else.
Yeah, I'm filing an issue.
Okay. I don't think we need process here. I just feel like we should have an issue.
Works for me.
I'm happy to kind of clicky whatever buttons.
Okay, I'm working on it.
Thank you so much, Zach.
Okay, Mike, you've been sent an invite, and the foundation issue has been created for 88. I'll link it here.
All right. Thank you.
I added it to the agenda notes for the office hours.
Awesome.
Accepted.
I added up higher, but I'll delete mine for yours.
Sorry. Okay.
I know.
That's been accepted, Mike. Okay, then I'm gonna close out the issue. I'm just make sure I see you here. Yep, I see you. I'm gonna close the issue.
All right.
Folks have other PRs they want to get merged for this 5.13 release. I have a small error message improvement. I saw like a fix to a crash for Windows. It looks like it should be pretty easy to review. Would love to get those kind of things done.
Yeah, I think we should kind of sweep everything on the first page here. No, maybe not the first page, but the first 2/3 of the page are all pretty straightforward, I think. Never quite sure we want to touch any of the Dependabot ones. This Dependabot never quite knows what it's doing, but yeah, I'll try and stare at the ones I haven't stared at yet. I don't think anything's really scary there. Does anyone, if I'm reading PRs, does anyone understand the fall through explicit in SQL encoding?
Yeah, it should switch between, depending on the character. If it's ASCII, so it's printable, it keeps it like it is. And so it falls through, or actually it stays above. Otherwise, if it's not, it encodes it with the same logic as if you asked it to always encode it. That should be.
And it looks like, I guess it looks like it probably just gives an empty value if it's not printable with the current behavior.
No, it returns, so the result, so when case is B64 encode conditional, it checks if the character is, wait, actually.
Oh, I
Okay,
see.
sorry,
This doesn't
yeah.
actually change the behavior. It's just making it explicit. Is that
Oh
right?
yeah, sorry. I was explaining. Yeah, sorry. I think I was explaining what the switch case logic of what the switch case was doing. But yes, the fall through is just to add a warning on the compiler which the fall through happening is wanted, and so that it's explicit and not implicit. But also,
So
it's processing the whole string, not the character by character. So yeah, sorry.
The double brackets notation is to the preprocessor. Is that like a notation?
I'm not sure. No, I think it's part of the C++ language itself. It's an attribute basically. In the past, you could use the compiler specific __ attribute __, and then the
I see, like
also something.
Sec.
So this isn't changing behavior, it's just removing a compiler warning.
It's actually, well, yes, if you pass
Because it's-
implicit fall through, yeah.
Because it's saying that the fall through is an intentional choice.
Yes, it's documenting code right now, yeah.
So I don't know this bit of our code. Is the fall through an intentional choice?
Yeah, so the big B64 encode conditional logic, it's also, let me link the issues I answered to the user.
Yeah,
so
I see
basically
Stefano answered yes.
It's documented. So again, if the string contains all printable character, it won't be encoded, and it will be just returned as is. If it contains non-printable character, and non-printable is non-ASCII characters, then it will be encoded in base 64, which is what happens when it's falling through.
Okay,
So,
I'll approve it then.
Yeah.
If you say it is correct, then I'll assume it's correct.
There's no default case in this switch statement. Is that fine?
Let me see. Well, result, yeah, it returns an empty string. You could write a warning, but yeah, given that it's using a std string, result.c string will be an empty empty or zero string. So yeah. But I mean, otherwise, this is itself, it's already like this, and this change doesn't change the logic. So I wouldn't stop the change, this addition, due to old bugs. But there's no bug that I can see.
I mean, it looks like the cases cover all the values that are documented on line 19 for the B64 type enum, but it seems like having a default case that logs a warning, it's probably a good idea.
Technically, well, in these cases, yeah, it's a bit question. Technically, there is a warning you can enable on the compiler. And again, technically, which is not happening right now, we should be building with warning as errors. There is some preference is to have to require that the switch case always handles all the possibilities and not use a default case. Because otherwise, when you use the default case and you want to make sure that you are actually correctly handling all the cases, that compiler warning won't be shown, basically. And so it's a bit of a question. Do we want to have a compiler time error, but be forced to express even the ones that we are not intentionally handling?
Well, how many are there?
Well, in this case, none. But when you enable it, it will work. I mean, it will warn about every other case, switch case around the code base. So, yeah.
I guess I'm wondering how many cases there are where we don't do that, or how much work it would be to change them. would it be a lot or relatively few?
Yeah, I was just curious, like for this warning implicit fall through, it seems like he's saying the issue could be that if this one instance is fixed, that we could start using that warning. Is that right?
So yeah, for this specific PR, that warning implicit fall through, yes.
Because we could do a follow-up PR where we ask him to enable that, or we just enable it, I guess.
Well, is
Um,
this person implying that this is the only place, or maybe they just were looking at this code and noticed this and figured it might be good here?
I haven't checked, but what I guess it happened is that they were looking at the code, they tried to enable that warning. They saw that warning being triggered, and maybe they are building with warning as errors. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Um,
I would encourage that. I would like to see them turn on all the warnings, but one by one after fixing issues for us.
They may have also found it in some other static analysis code. Like they may have some other code that triggered on it.
but it's also, I mean, that specific error, let's say, again, could be problematic if you did not want it. So maybe again, they run a code query, some static analysis query that, warn about the unclear logic, let's say.
People want to go through PRs right now? Should we just end this and go through PRs outside of this meeting?
I am taking a look at a couple of them. If someone could take a look at mine, it's actually relatively small.
Which one?
Improving. It's my most recent one. I've added a link
Error
to
message?
it. Yes,
I already approved it.
8358. Oh, great. Thank you.
It's done.
Okay, great. I'll merge that. Thanks.
There's one. Where did that one land? Does anyone understand 8338? I tagged Charvel in it, but I think I don't understand where he left it.
88338.
Yeah, this one.
Align yes
Oh.
functions.
So there's a syntax for the matching things that you want to filter out. That's the mute. Okay. So it looks like they have. This is new to me, but it looks like they've changed the way that you specify those filters.
But the issue is that we are building for 1015, so we cannot use yes mute or well, okay, no, we can put the checks, which I think is it what they are doing. Oh, okay, yes. I see. So we were incorrectly checking for macOS 13 instead of 12. I mean,
So this would allow something to work in 12 that wasn't? Or I don't understand.
to be fair, well, yeah. Although it seems to me that I think those APIs are doing the same thing, and even if they are like marked as deprecated, they at least on 12 they will still work. So like even if it was using the old ones. Because again, yeah, the logic either uses one or the other. So I'm not sure. Well, it doesn't seem necessary. It seems nice to have to correct the.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like it
But
significantly changes things like functionally, but I mean, I can see on the endpoint security reference material from Apple that he's right. The changeover was 12. So if we wanted to be technically correct, we could accept the PR. I think it's worth accepting it.
I think Charlotte was though worried about the fact that, I mean, the new API was not actually working or present in Monterey, and it was an error on the documentation.
Okay.
And so, I mean, this can be run again after I update the CI, because the tester has Monterey. So, I mean, I guess if that yes mute path is not present on Monterey, it should fail to build there, or at least fail to run, because it is building on a newer machine. Wait. Oh yeah, sorry. So it should fail to run if it's not working correctly.
It doesn't seem like a very high risk change to me. It seems like it only has potential to affect like quite old versions of macOS on a feature that's not even usually enabled by default. And if it seems to align with the documentation, I would feel comfortable moving forward with it.
Okay. I don't understand it enough, so I was wanted to throw it at someone else.
So there's these APIs from Apple where when they change it, they allow you to do it the deprecated way for 1 or 2 or 10 versions. They don't really tell you when they're going to finally kill it. And what is happening is we continued using that deprecated naming or API form up until 13. When this, I guess, submitter is saying you could start using the preferred one as early as 12. So to align with the availability of the new form, we could be checking against OS 12 rather than 13. Honestly, we use deprecated things pretty often. It's not unusual for Osquery to continue relying on deprecated form until it really dies. But if you wanted to, align with the API availability, you could do this. And he's saying you could change the 13s to 12. So I guess you can. Does it enable something new for 12 users of 12? No. Does it maybe break it? Probably not, but maybe. That's what Stefano's saying.
But does it solve any problems? Or is it just like removing it? Like I don't understand what motivated the PR in a sense.
Correctness, documentation of the code, I guess. Yeah.
I guess using the new things as soon as you're supposed to, being compliant. That's the motivation.
I don't know. I mean, you have a reasonable point, Mike, that Osquery does all kinds of unsupported and deprecated things.
It's not deprecated until it's really dead. Yeah.
It's not deprecated until all the machines that ever run that software are gone. I don't think I have any real opinion here.
So like Zach said, it's probably harmless. It appeases this contributor. Maybe it encourages them to continue contributing. I know it's not important, but
Well, we can, prove it and go. So I think there's PRs that we've approved but haven't merged. And there is Stefano's PR, and there's Brad's PR about the ATC tables, which I keep saying I'll try and absorb. And that feels like the recent-ish things. This one, is this one interesting?
Which one's that?
8287 fixed string from CF data. Zach, you were chatting.
That one, there's not a clear resolution. Like it fixes some cases and breaks others, unless that person replied and we figured out a better solution. Yeah, I don't think that one's ready to merge.
Okay. So it's like macOS's encoding is inconsistent.
Yes, my memory, it's been a while since I looked at this, but my memory is that things are encoded differently in different places, and we have one function that's applied to various different places, but it's not really clear. It's probably not really documented what encoding is used in the various places, and their patch fixes some places, but also seems to break others. And I was not personally okay with breaking things that are existing working, even if it's fixing other things.
Yeah, I wonder what the right way to handle that is.
It might need to be handled more on a case-by-case basis. Hard to say.
Yeah, like effectively making two string from CF data functions or slapping a Boolean in there for what encoding type or something.
Yes, something like that does seem appropriate.
Yeah, I just wonder how I feel like there's something we don't understand in what Apple's doing under the hood. Okay. No, then probably there's just
How
Stefano.
about 8200? I see there was some discussion with you and Mike.
8200. So I am a little bit disinclined for this because Mike is trying to get us away from using dbus in Did he merge it? Where's that PR?
UDev, you mean?
Yeah, he's trying to get us away from UDev in 8182, which Stefano had some feedback for, and Micah tells me he's going to pick up again soon.
So it seems like the main one we're waiting on, 8345, looks like it should probably just get merged. And it seems like the main one we're waiting on is this macOS CI stuff.
And Brad's PR about the ATC table.
Okay. And that's something that you're thinking you'll be able to look at?
I'll try and review that. If you want to review it, you might beat me to it.
Okay.
You might have more of that code in your head. Micah thought it was okay. You could take a look. Yeah.
I don't really have that code in my head, but I can take a look.
8345 looked fine to me. I clicked approve earlier today. I don't know if anyone else wants to read it. Seemed
I can
reasonable.
test it on Ubuntu 24. I just downloaded a VM image to do that.
We have oh, that's an old one.
Sorry, wait. I should remember. Oh, okay, never mind. Sorry. Should have looked at the code. I think I left a comment there. I wasn't sure if it was switching between the new or old version of the hash, depending on the version, but it was my comment already there.
It 8109 is an old one from Stefano about Unicode support.
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, I think it was stuck in a sense just because we wanted to. The idea was to add an additional overload to that function.
Yeah, I think I didn't.
But yeah.
Yeah, like you sounded unsure if you wanted to overload, and I don't remember where we left this.
Yeah, yeah, it's just it's tricky. It all depends on. It all depends on kind of who's writing code and how careful they are. In a sense, we cannot we can present safe interfaces, but then it's quite performance. The performance it's not ideal of it.
Mm-hmm.
Because there are copies to be done, etc. And I think I should remember, but also maybe it could be like the interface for this function could be implemented. I would say better or support more cases if we had stud span support, and this is though a C++20 thing. Or technically, you could also create your own stud span. Basically, it's like a standard string view. It's a view. It's a generic view over a sequence of bytes, let's say. So you can really pass any sequence of bytes starting from strings or vectors, etc. So, and again, it has a pointer and a size, but everything in a single element. So you just pass or require a stud span, and you are set, much like again string view. Mm-hmm. And so with that, you would not have to necessarily expose. It's easy to construct that again via a stud vector or other things.
Mhm.
But yeah, I also have to refresh my mind on there were also a couple of differences where, given that these functions are taking in a string and converting it to either UTF-8 or UTF-16, depending on the APIs, you can ask the APIs to have the original string be null terminated or not. But then you can obviously have, like, you must. So if you choose to always want to have a null terminated string, then you, like, the caller has to ensure that that null terminated exists, and it's not always ideal because you have to make a copy on a, maybe sometimes again you get this string which is not null terminated, but you don't have enough space on the buffer, so you have to do some additional work, which
Mhm.
is not necessarily ideal. So yeah. Anyway.
Okay. Sounds like you're not ready to merge that. So
Well,
we'll look at it in
at least,
moment.
well, I mean, the implementation should be correct. It was mostly saying, yeah, let's switch to the new interface. Honestly, I would merge it, and then if time arises or interest arises around that, we can also add that additional interface. Like when we add that interface for vector, like switching to that, it's not additional work, I would say. Basically, that much additional work is pretty quick to
Mhm.
go with it. So unless there are other worries,
No, I mean, I think you
I
flagged
would.
the worry yourself. You were a little bit hesitant in how to add it, or we didn't quite land there. But I read over it some time ago, concluded it was fine. So how about I approve it? And yeah. Okay. I should probably go, and we're at time as well. So thank you all, and we can try and get a 513 out this week.
Awesome. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
you all.
Bye.
Bye.